Hi everyone, it's Carolyn, here to share another channeled message from the Light Keepers. They are a group of angelic beings I channel for your awakening and ascension journey support. So I'm here today to share 5 things that you may be having happen to you now that you have little awareness of, or you're going through it and there's really no understanding why you're going through it. So I'm going to try to give you what those 5 things are, obviously, but a frame of reference so you can understand and identify them and then be able to, I guess I would say, be more calm and centered in your response. And it all has to do with the time frame we're in now. As you may remember, if you saw my last video, which had to do with an energy update I did kind of out of the blue for the weeks ending July, early then August, now there's a lot happening to us individually as a result of these energies and this, I guess I'll just say that they were showing me a tunnel, the kind of portal we're moving through of an energetic times. But there's purpose in it, but there's a lot happening within this time. It's not just a time to kind of be able to rest and relax and take in the energies and care for ourselves. And yes, that's important. However, there is a lot of activity going on. I think some of you are going to be able to relate to at least one, if not all of these things. And I will tell you right now, they're all happening to me too, to an extreme degree. And I'm going to tell you that during my 4-year formal conscious journey of awakening, you know, things have come and happened to me pretty profoundly. But that's come at different times throughout those 4 years. But oh my gosh, I'm having so much happen right now. And what they've told me is it's because of this window. It's because of 2020, but it's this window we're in right now that is so critical for clearing out. So before I get talking about all this, because I am going to share 5 pieces out of this, I'm going to share a channel that the Light Keepers brought through on this topic to kind of introduce it. So here we go. Times come and go, but these times are just so, where one feels like you may be bombarded in your day by things you didn't see coming your way. Unexpected they can be too, but this is what happens as the higher energies come into you, shedding off what we say is still stuck to you at times in your day. Those may come your way that you did not expect again in time to clear out and deal with things that were left undone in your day. It may feel difficult, but know you are supported by the higher energies. Separating and splitting off with those who you have had difficult times with and who may reappear in time. But it is all for good purpose, so you don't carry forward it in the higher vibrations, the ascension times. Know, too, that so much is happening now to the human body with the energies ripe, we say. And as you encounter things you did not expect, sometimes you feel like even if you are in your home all day, you will still have situations come your way. And yes, it is like this at times, for you may need to deal with things you don't even understand from past lives in your day. But what the most important thing is, we say, is to embrace what is coming your way of things you never expected during these times. Look at it from the outside in and beware of the human expression to begin to settle in. Know that at times you may get sucked into the lower vibration in your day in dealing with this all, but the higher of you will soon overcome to help you express out yourself in a different way than you might have in the past. It is important that you mind yourself too with self-care. For at times, feeling like you have been abused by the lower energies that come again in your way, just after you felt like you've centered yourself and moved forward in your own day. A blast of this may come your way, for it is manifested in people and situations to sometimes clear out things you don't even understand. But know that most of what is happening now to you today that is unexpected or that you did not see coming your way comes from places you don't even understand in time, and not always in this lifetime. And when it comes from this lifetime, often it is you've carried it from a past life into this day to resurrect again and clear it out for the final time. And then I say, okay, so this is a great time of clearing because of how these bits and pieces that are coming our way we have to deal with them, and then we have all these energies to deal with. We have the situations coming our way. There are a myriad of things, different things that we have, such as continued aspects of ourselves, which I'll talk about more. Okay, you're showing me parts and pieces coming back into us. And then they say, yes, you are becoming more of who you truly are. You feel different, more than you have before. A higher version of you, and oftentimes those lives you held, they were of greatness, where you lived in a way that expressly presented you. The higher vibrations now entering you again to help bring you strength. For any incarnation you've had leaves an energetic stamp and is there for you to grasp onto. But some of them, the powerful ones, are here to enter again into you. You will not consciously know, but you may feel different on a particular day. If you are connected deeply with how your body, mind, and soul works, in a way, you are becoming more full you, even though some of this feels very difficult or can present things like roadblocks that you feel in your way. And know, too, that great emotion may come, but it is about you staying in the higher self of you, not allowing the lower energies to take you over. For it is a time when they are struggling to pull you down in your day. It is all energetic. Know this. Whatever is presented to you, it is how you react to it that will make the difference. This does not mean, though, that you can't feel the great emotion and express it, but it is what you present out from your own self to the other in your day, the action taken, that matters most than anything we find. So do not let the human emotion overcome you in time, for this is the time of greatness for you as you continue to grow and the remnants that are clearing in your day. We understand that you will not know everything that is at hand, but this is why today we bring into you understanding of times you see now in your human life that yet still may not be well understood. We leave you in light and love this day, now, and forevermore. The Light Keepers. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about a past video. I think it was 2 videos ago. We talked about, well, actually, I'm sorry, it was for the July energy update. It talked about gaining your stability. Okay, gain your stability in early July. Gain your stability with the energies that are coming in. Find your way. What's your stability? How are you doing it? Because guess what? Now they tell us, because it's now that these other things are presenting to us. And what that means is, as we have found our stability, hopefully, and that's hard, right? But whatever we've done to do that during July, knowing that, we're in for an interesting time, we find our stability, and then these things get presented to us. And we try to stay stable. We stay stable, okay? And then we're dealing with all these things that are coming our way. And I'm going to talk about 5 things that are happening now to all of us to one degree or another. So during this energetic time, where we're at right now, which is right now, I'm filming this on July 25th. It'll be out hopefully on the 26th or 27th of July 2020. We're finding ourselves moving into August. We've built our stability, and now we have things poking in at us. 5 things that I think you may, to one degree or another, understand. And if they don't resonate with you, just know likely there are things happening that have to do with this for you, but it will give you a greater appreciation for what's occurring, and I think it will help you feel more comfort in some of maybe the more difficult things that are happening. So the first one, I'm going to read from my notes here. Okay, this is an interesting one. So, as many of you know, one of my specialties is identifying past lives, particularly past lives that are impacting you today or that are important for you to know about this incarnation's journey. So, needless to say, what is happening now? And I had this happen in spades with a particular life some time ago, I would say 4 months ago, where those higher aspects of you that have, as they say, that energetic stamp still out there. We always leave that behind, that personality self, that energetic stamp out there, those experiences. They are re-entering you again in one way or another. Not all of them, but the higher ones of you. I've had one. Now, I know about, probably 10 to 15 of my lives. They're all kind of connected in certain ways. There's a theme, I'll just say. But there's one higher version a higher life I held as such that when I say higher life, living in my higher self and presenting that out in how I lived my life. Okay. So point is those aspects, some of them are coming back into us now. All right. Now it's real hard to describe how that happens, but you may actually know when it happens. I actually knew when it happened. I had the situation with this past life show up again. I mean, I've known it pretty well for some time, but I started to be drawn to it more. I started spending more time with this aspect of myself and just for some reason feeling like I needed to meditate and bring that individual in. But the point is there was a reason for that because I woke up one morning and all of a sudden I had vertigo. My crown chakra felt super wide open. Everything just felt like I was open to something, some energy swirling around me coming in. And I spent the day in dizziness and vertigo, and then through a series of conversations with, well, actually Celeste, who you've seen in some of my videos, we unraveled pretty quickly that I was bringing in that higher aspect of myself to continue this journey. That aspect of myself, that life, as you know about past lives that I've talked about before, we do bring in some of that into this incarnation. And you can see it in little habits and strange things that happen to us that we don't understand, that don't really apply to this life. And I'll give you an example of that here in a second. But what happens now is we are gaining more of our higher aspects into us. We've all had different kinds of lives. We've all had lives from one end of the spectrum to the other. Some of our spectrums are wide ranging. Others of us haven't had as many lives, right? So we're just experiencing. But what's happening is for many of us now, some of our higher aspects are coming into us as we gain in vibration so that we can continue to use those aspects moving forward. And it's hard to explain how you feel and what that actually means for you. You may notice it as it's coming into you, but you may not be able to even identify that it's a past life. I just want you to know that if you experience something that feels like you've shifted and changed, you suddenly one day feel like you have bumped up dramatically, there may have been an aspect of you in one of your past lives that's now showing up again to assist you forward further. Because like I said, we do carry forward our past lives in our DNA, and they show up in the strangest ways. And I'm going to share this with you because it's kind of funny. My mother, she's 83 years old, and she's just starting to go through the awakening journey with the numbers and everything. But, she's pretty traditional, or has been always, grew up as a 50s housewife, and, just lived was a mom, loved being a mom and housewife. And so, nothing like dramatic out of that, right? But the biggest thing that just cracks us up is she loves the Indy 500, will never miss it, loves all the stock car races and all this stuff. That is so not her. I mean, on the surface, so not her. She's kind of a pretty refined, lovely, elegant woman. And it's funny, right? Not that you can't have those interests, but it doesn't match, right? So that's my point in telling you this. It doesn't match. Oh my gosh. So then I go through my awakening. We've known this forever, right? I go through my awakening, blah, blah, blah. Past lives are a thing for me, right? They're one of my specialties. And she and I are traveling in Utah for our vacation, or just this last year. And as we're doing this, we had many past life revelations for her showing up that were going back to some of the same places. Point is we go across the Bonneville Salt Flats. All of a sudden, this vision of a past life for her comes into me. She was one of the original first drivers back in the day when they drove the Bonneville Salt Flats. I saw her with the headgear, the old-time headgear, car racing, driving. It all made sense to her. It was hilarious, and it's funny because it doesn't match who she is today, and it just makes me laugh. And she was a man in that life. But the point is, and I wanted to share that with you because they're fun stories, right? But the point is we bring these past lives in, all right? And they show up in us through habits and things that don't seem to make any sense as to why, they would be here in this life. But now you're bringing in your higher aspects of yourself to continue this journey forward because you're going through awakening. You don't have to even understand it and identify it like I can. Not a big deal, right? However, it is happening. And I just want you to know that because sometimes some of these things can feel disturbing. They can feel they can feel like you're out of control. And what I'm trying to do here is give you back a little control. And if it's nothing more than understanding that what you're going through physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe one of these 5 things, and that it's nothing to be scared about. Okay, so again, knowing that potentially higher parts of you, higher evolved parts of you are joining you now because you're moving into a higher vibration. Okay, so the second one is these timelines and time shift changes. So what's happening more rapidly now, and many of you are feeling this, that time for us is moving us through, and this is meant to happen. Time is shifting and changing. Those of us gaining in this vibration, going through this portal, this change, this time moving into August, what we're starting to find is that we're moving through different timelines all the time. Okay, we're not like static like this on this timeline trajectory. We're moving in and out. Sometimes we feel like we went back into the past and we're moving into the future. Not that you can identify that, but it's a feeling you have of, wow, I just don't feel like I'm in present day. Wow, I feel like I'm out in the ethers a lot. That's one of the symptoms, is feeling very spacey and kind of out there a lot. We're continuously moving up and down through timelines. Now, I've talked about how the collective is doing this in general, and we are all shifting up to our higher level timelines. I've got past videos on that, but the point is we're part of this collective timeline. We are moving in and out. This is profound right now. People are losing track of time. We don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning and then it's all of a sudden 4 and you're like, how did that happen? Where'd the days go? And it's not even people just going through awakening, because remember, the entire collective is being affected by this journey, by this ascension, but we are helping them come along even more by the work we're doing and the fact that we're waking up. But what I want you to know is this time continuum, this idea of time, how you feel about time, it's going to get wonkier. And it's gotten really strange for me over the past, I'll just say month, but I would say over the last few weeks too. So understand that's one thing you're going to notice. It's natural, all right? And it's probably going to get quite a bit stranger, because as we move into these higher frequencies, these dimensions, we continue to, they just said, upgrade. What we're going to do is notice that we are feeling less attached to okay, they just said a continuum. Oh, a linear view of time. Okay, so there you go. So we're moving in and out of our timelines, all right? And we all have different timelines, microns of a degree difference, which will also impact our experience, okay? So number 3, this one is huge. And this one can be kind of one of the most disturbing. I've had it happened this week, and it's been very hard. And I won't go into a ton of detail, but I am going to share a bit of it with you because I want you to understand it. So as many of you know from listening to me in the past, our past lives do come back in to repeat ourselves with the same people sometimes, but in a different scenario. Because you know what? Maybe we didn't get it right the last time. And there's all different reasons for that we repeat the situation again. It may be a lesson for us. Maybe we didn't get it that time, and now here we are again with those same people, all right? But as you've gone through your journey, and you're still going to continue doing this, you've been dealing with these things in your life with people that come your way. They are not always easy. Some of the most difficult relationships we have are the ones that teach us the most, and that are very likely from past lives that we are dealing with again, to either assist, well, it's always multi-layered, to assist each other and for them to assist us. In us learning, and very likely, and in my case, breaking out of a patterned way of behaving, okay, that was not serving me. Well, here's my situation. I last week had an individual pop back into my life in a way that I've never had this person express themselves. And it was pretty horrific. For nothing that I had done other than a response that I had given that was not seen to their liking of what they had expected from me from the past, right? So I've changed a lot from that time. So my shift and change was over time to learn that I need to have boundaries, and I need to be able to say no, and I need to not just succumb to a personality that may believe they deserve everything, which is what I provided to them. Kind of like the king and queen, but that the queen is the servant instead. That was kind of my thing. Anyway, this person shows right back up in my life last week. The same behavior happens, only much more severely, to the point of me feeling, and I knew the past life too, because there's a past life attached to this. So I'm at the luxury of understanding my past lives, and lots of times being able to understand what's going on. Is this a past life? So the point is this is a very strong, powerful past life for me, where ultimately things didn't end well, and I'll just leave it at that. But I came back into this life now to be able to stand in my power, not give myself away, even though I did in this lifetime again when we reconnected. But now after all these years, I'm like, no. But I did it in a way like they were talking here, where it wasn't filled with emotion. Now I had my emotion, right? In my house with myself, right? I was like, oh. And I kept thinking, why is this coming back? And then I realized why this is coming back. I hadn't taken care of this. And now's the time for us to take care of these things where these people are popping back into our lives. I have had more people this week say to me, oh my gosh, I've just had X, Y, and Z show back up. Or I now am having to deal with this to be able to answer to this person that I never expected to. People are going to pop into your lives you thought you were done with, that you thought you had taken care of. But remember, there's all these remnants, right? I've talked a lot about this, how when we think as the human, we've gotten through this and we're done, no, something else shows up. And what's happening now is sometimes people are showing back up because it's about you making sure you've learned your lesson to stand in the highest of you and in your own self-power and what is most healthy for you. Now, part of this goes with the next one, which is the lower energies pulling in on us to try to pull us down. They don't want us to go higher, right? And that can show up in people. It shows up in people all the time. And so what'll happen if these people start coming back in on our journey through this energetic tunnel, just know, like, you got an obstacle course. That's how I said it the other day. I'm like, oh, we're not just going to smoothly go through this because we've reached this certain point. We have an obstacle course. And some of these obstacle courses are people that are coming back to go, hey, I'm still here. Hey, do you remember when? Hey, and try to do that same thing over again. It is happening in spades this last week. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to about this, and it's happened profoundly with me. But I basically, okay, so they just said, shut the door. Shut the door. And not in an emotional way, like they said. It's about managing the emotion behind that. You can have your emotion, right, for yourself. Then collect yourself, right? And then you respond from your highest self. That's what I went through. I went through responding from my highest self. When I'm really, really good at not responding from my highest self in the past. Ooh, just blazing words and all of this. And you know what that does, right? But no, responding from your highest self as you get through that process. So know that if you're having difficulty right now with things, events, mainly people, stuff coming your way that you didn't expect or that's coming back, this is part of the learning. It's part of the obstacle course on our way to this August, or these August energies. I'm not saying this is going to end after August. I'm just saying this is happening a lot right now to people. Okay, so I hope this is understandable because, like I said, a lot of this is hard to identify until it's in your face, right? But always remember the awakening. Always remember the ascension. Always remember energetically where we are. 2020, we're seeing more clearly now. That means in our individual lives as well. And so these things are coming in to go, hello, I need you to see me. I need you to see me. Look at me again. How did you handle this? Are you done? Is there a remnant? It's going to make itself known. So that's what we're talking about here. Okay. So now we're moving into, I already talked about number 4, I guess, the negative energies pulling us in. I've talked about people and unexpected events coming in out of the blue. I've talked about timelines and how time is shifting and changing and taking us through this, how it's going to feel different. And now the last one, and this is what's kind of cool. So we've talked about all this stuff happening that can kind of shake you and rock you. I mean, if you think about all these things, moving in and out of timelines, not knowing what your time frame is, feeling spacey all day, having other people show up in unexpected events poking and prodding at you and you're having to deal with them, This also includes physical stuff. Forget people coming in your way, but you may experience physical things that you're shedding from past lives. This is your body too, like my knee. Remember my video when I said I have knee issues? Oh yeah, this is past life related and other situation related. So I have a bunch of stuff going on. But the thing is, this can get really, you can really get bummed out about this. So much can start to happen. However, the fifth thing, what is so cool about this is, and I talked with a client, a mentoring client the other day about this, is even though there's all this stuff we're dealing with, we're flowing above it. Now that doesn't mean you're not dealing with it. It's you, and it's like they give me the visual of all this undercurrent happening, and our energy and our vibration is rising so much that yes, as the undercurrent bubbles up, we go with it, okay? But we're always above it. And that's the metaphor they're giving me is here's your undercurrent, and it might create a wave, but you're riding the wave, okay? You're riding the wave because you've gained that higher vibration. So this stuff that comes your way, remember when it's difficult or you're dealing with a difficult situation, you're going to get through this. Because you're at this higher level of yourself, this higher version of yourself. You're going to get through this. Your guides and your angels are helping you get through this. But it's not going to necessarily be easy. I want you to know this, but it is for your higher, greater good. It is for you to be able to continue to move forward, but that you'll always be up above here, riding that wave. It's not going to always feel like it, but you are. That's the visual they've given me as we continue that journey. We are riding that wave. And we don't tip over, and we don't drown. So I hope this has helped you a little bit, kind of get a frame of reference for things that are happening now that may just be spinning your head around. Because at least for me, when I have some foundation of understanding, of being able to say, oh, okay, that's why that may have happened, then you have some bit more of a control. You feel like, and control is kind of irrelevant because it's not really a thing, right? We know that we don't have a lot of control over this, but as a human, we need to have some groundedness in understanding. So I hope today this video has assisted you in understanding some of the really wonky things that are happening now. And they are very multi-layered. They are very associated with past lives very often. And they're going to just be an obstacle course for you as you continue to move forward. But know that you will continue to move forward. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'll leave you with my website, purplerainhealing.com, where you can see all of my services. I would love to work with you. Help identify your past lives if you'd like, because I channel prolifically throughout all of my sessions. Distance energy healing and channeling. I have 3 different kinds of channeling sessions. One, which is with Celeste, where we do a full-on soul journey for you. And I do spiritual awakening mentoring, where I channel all the time with you as I help you journey through your spiritual awakening and ascension journey in your life. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.